Gi-Hun is the ultimate good guy, and that's exactly what makes him dangerous. He believes in kindness, in mercy, in saving people. But deep down, he's more like the front man than he thinks. Not because he's heartless, but because something breaks him along the way. So what turns a man so pure into a monster? It's not the bullet that breaks Gi-Hun, it's the silence that follows. Season 2, Episode 7. Gi-Hun stops surviving. He fights back. He rallies the players, starts a revolt, and for a moment he actually believes they can win.
This is our last chance to put an end to these games and make sure they never happen again.
He thinks the real threat is the guards, or maybe the VIPs, but it isn't. It's someone he trusted, Young Il. During the rebellion, Young Il fakes his own death, disappears, then reemerges in a mask. He wasn't just another player, he was the front man. He lets Gi-Hun believe in hope, then personally makes him pay for it.
Did you have fun playing the hero? Now, witness the consequences of your little game.
Young Il raises the gun, first at Gi-Hun, then turns it on Jung-Bai. That's when it breaks. Not just the body, but the belief. Gi-Hun loses more than a friend. He loses the idea that doing the right thing will ever work. Mercy didn't matter. Justice didn't work. Hope got people killed. And in that moment, he learns the system's truth. Trying to save people is what gets them killed. He lost the fight, but the frontman didn't kill him. Why? Because breaking Gi-Hun wasn't the end. It was step 1. Season 2 ends with Gi-Hun captured, alive, restrained, and silent. The real question isn't why they let him live. It's what they want him to become. Not mercy, conversion. Gi-Hun wasn't rescued. He was repurposed. Not as a threat, but as a project. In-ho didn't spare him out of guilt. He did it to make a point. Anyone can break if you push hard enough. And Gi-Hun? He's already starting to crack. They don't need to hurt him. Just leave him alone. Long enough for his hope to rot. And it's working. The man who once said, "We need to stop the games," is now wondering if they can be stopped at all. Even the shaman warned him, a moment most ignored until now.
You feel frozen, unable to leave or stay. Those vengeful souls dragged you here.
Maybe she wasn't reading his future. Maybe she was describing his role. Not a player, not a rebel. Something in between. Just like In-ho. He won the games in 2015, then disappeared, then came back as the system. The creator said it himself. In-ho saw the rock bottom of humanity and gave up on it. Now Gi-Hun's on the same path. But the real question is, how do you turn someone like Gi-Hun into that? The frontman doesn't kill Gi-Hun. He brings him back. Not as a player, not as staff, as something worse. Gi-Hun wakes in a casket, handcuffed, silent, eyes barely open. The dorm freezes. Everyone stares. Dae-ho runs up. "You're alive? If you're back, we can win this." Hyunju whispers from her bunk. "We'll follow you again." But Gi-Hun doesn't speak, doesn't smile, doesn't explain. Because hours earlier, he stood alone in a dark hallway facing the frontman. Bruised, bloodied, shackled. "You're not here to play," the frontman said. "You're here to watch. And if the wrong people survive, you know what to do." "Then the games won't be fair," Gi-Hun said. The frontman stepped in close. "The games are fair. The players aren't. I don't interfere. I correct. Now you will too." Gi-Hun didn't respond, but something in him cracked. So why would he obey? Because the rebellion failed. Because Jung-Bai is dead, executed in front of him. Because he couldn't protect Dae-ho or Hyunju or anyone. Because the system didn't kill him. It converted him. And deep down, he's realized the one truth no one wants to face. You can't change the rules unless you play by them first. So the act begins. He's back in the dorm. Same green uniform. Same cracked walls. But now he sees things differently. He doesn't just see players, he sees variables. The next morning, the doors open. The next game is starting. No rules, just movement. And here's the first test. A player ahead stumbles, coughing, limping, barely standing. Dae-ho turns to Gi-Hun. "Help me carry him." The Gi-Hun we knew would have jumped in. But this Gi-Hun knows what's coming. He's seen the course. He knows the next checkpoint will punish anyone who slows the group. If they carry him, they all risk elimination. If they leave him, only one dies. Gi-Hun shakes his head. "We can't." He walks away. Dae-ho stays behind stunned. "But that's not you." Gi-Hun doesn't look back. Later, back in the dorm, everyone's tired, quiet, watching. The guards drop food trays onto the floor, one per person. Hyunju tears her bread in half, gives it to a younger player, starving, shivering. Gi-Hun watches from across the room. He saw the guards prepping the next area. He knows the challenge ahead. Anyone weak won't make it through. He could warn her, tell her not to share, tell her kindness is a trap. He says nothing. These aren't games anymore. They're choices. Do I let them speak? Let them share? Let them live? Every silence feels like strategy. Every silence feels like control. And Gi-Hun? He's learning how to survive with both. By lights out, 3 are gone. Not because he killed them, because because he didn't stop it, and somewhere inside, that starts to feel like power. So the question now isn't whether Gi-Hun will break the rules, it's when he'll start writing them. 3 days have passed since Gi-Hun stayed silent. 3 players died, not because he acted, because he didn't. He hasn't worn the mask, hasn't spoken to the front man. But the guards? They've started treating him differently. It starts with a clipboard, dropped on his bed. No words, no instructions, just a stack of papers. On top, a handwritten note. Team setup, too many overlaps, input requested. Gi-Hun flips through the pages. Each one shows a player, how fast they run, how long they last in games, how often they panic, who they argue with, who they listen to, all handwritten, all cold. He stares at it. He knows what this is. The front man wants his input. Why me? What happens if I refuse? What if someone worse takes my place? He holds the clipboard for hours, does nothing, until a guard walks past. Gi-Hun mutters, "I'm not staff." The guard shrugs, then lets someone else decide who survives. Gi-Hun gets it. If he wants to protect anyone, he has to be the one to choose. He doesn't pick favorites. He doesn't punish anyone. He just moves things around. Splits up 2 players who always fight. Puts someone slower on the edge, not in the center. It feels like math, not murder. If I don't do it, he thinks, someone will, and they won't care who gets hurt. The next game? Completely fair. Still, 2 players are eliminated. No cheating, no twist, just bad combinations. And Gi-Hun knows he helped set it up. That night, another sheet. A sketch of the next game's layout, drawn boxes, arrows, obstacle zones. At the top, message from frontman, review layout, too much failure at checkpoint 3. Gi-Hun shouldn't touch it, but he does. He shortens one path, widens another, just enough to smooth the pain. Then Hyunju sees him. She doesn't see the page, but she sees his eyes. She's been watching the change. Hyunju, what did they do to you? Are you working for them now? Gi-Hun, I'm making it survivable. Hyunju, for who? He has no answer. Later, the frontman finds him. Gi-Hun still doesn't know it's Young Il behind the mask. Frontman asks him, still want to stop the games? Gi-Hun replies, yes. Then keep them running. Frontman replies. Gi-Hun flinches and says, that makes no sense. Frontman then says, you saw what chaos did. No control means more death. To stop the game, someone has to run it first. Frontman steps closer and says, I was like you once, then walks away. That night, on Gi-Hun's bed, the guards leave a folded black cloth. Inside, the mask. He doesn't wear it, but he doesn't put it away either. He just sits and stares. None of this was part of his plan. He's becoming the thing he swore to destroy. But what happens next will change everything. 3 more games have passed. Gi-Hun never touched the mask, but he did everything else. He assigned matchups, reviewed layouts, quietly adjusted outcomes. No one called him the front man, but the system already treated him like one. Then, one night, a guard comes for him. No gun, no chains, just a key, and a hallway. He leads Gi-Hun past every level of the game, until they reach a door he's never seen before. It opens on its own. Inside, a chair, a desk, a wall of blinking screens, and standing at the center, the front man. Frontman says, you've done well. Gi-Hun stays silent. Frontman continues, you've made decisions no one else could. Balanced mercy with consequence. Like I once did. Gi-Hun steps forward, angry. That's not what I wanted. Frontman nods. Il-Nam talked about you. Said you were different. Said you still had hope. He pauses, then enters a code into the console. A soft beep. A screen flashes. Succession protocol active. Frontman says quietly, if I disappear, the system will look to you. Gi-Hun freezes. Frontman adds, I didn't believe him, but after what I've seen, he reaches up, removes the mask. Gi-Hun stares, shocked. It's Young Il. Gi-Hun whispers, you're dead. Young Il replies calm, no. I took control. Gi-Hun growls, you killed Jung Bae. Young Il counters, you let him die. Silence. Young Il steps closer. You don't need to fight anymore. Let's see if you're really different. He turns his back, gestures to the chair. Then he says it. You'll thank me when you're sitting in my chair. That's when it happens. Gi-Hun grabs a metal tool from the panel. He doesn't plan it. He just moves. One strike, fast, sharp. Young Il drops. Dead. Not with a scream. With silence. The guards don't move. No alarms. No lockdown. Because the system has already chosen. The screen flashes once more. New operator confirmed. Gi-Hun looks at the screens. At the blinking red lights. At the mask on the table. He reaches for it, then stops, just stares at it. One long second, like he still hopes he'll walk away. But he doesn't. He sits. Not with pride, not with power, with something worse, becoming the front man. Gi-Hun thinks, if I leave, someone worse will take the chair. If I stay, maybe I can fix it. So what is he now? A traitor with rules? A spy with a mask? A hero lost in the job? He presses the button. A door opens. A game begins. From here, here's how it could go forward. Maybe he's the new ruler. He runs the game now. No cheating, no cruelty, just clean death. He calls it order. He calls it fair. He tells himself this is mercy, but slowly The silences stretch. The choices harden. One day he makes a decision, not because it's right, but because it's easy, and that's when he turns, without even noticing. Or maybe it's all a mask. He's dismantling the game from the inside. Every command, a breadcrumb. Every round, a cover. Every adjustment, a delay. He's leaking footage, tracking names, saving who he can, but no one can know. Not the players, not the staff. So he lets them think he turned. Lets the mask do the talking, and each day, it gets harder to remember which part was the act. He didn't want the mask, but now the game won't run without him, and maybe that's the real trap. Not becoming the villain, becoming necessary. Say what you want, Gi-Hun snapped, but at least he killed the right person. The front man had it coming. And trust us, he's not the only one. Watch every player who deserved to die in Squid Game. You'll be surprised who made the list, or who didn't.